Okay everyone, it's time for Titania Prime, and that is really exciting. I've been waiting for her for about 3 months, I guess? I don't know. So, we have a couple of things to talk about when it comes to her. First thing, of course, is her visuals. She floats instead of runs, so it's kind of like Wisp, except Wisp has a different floating animation while she is moving around, so that's really good. Second thing is that that floating animation also happens while she is holding a melee weapon. So let's say we're holding the sword and shield, and we are moving around. We're not running at all, so that's really good. Next thing is that when you jump into Razor Wing, you actually have these butterfly wings that are flapping while you're flying around in Razor Wing, so that's also very interesting as well. This is not something that you'll find in Titania regular, so that's just something you want to keep in mind. Okay, but that is her visuals. Also keep in mind we're using the Sciandana that came with Titania Prime Access. Now there's actually 2 different versions of this particular Sciandana that you can get. So the normal large version is called, and I'm going to butcher this name, Gigalorum Prime? Or Gigalorum Prime? Highly unlikely it's Gigalorum. I think it's Gigalorum Prime. And we also have Gigalore Prime. It's a bit of a weird name in my opinion, but that's the small version. Now in my opinion, I feel like Icarius Sciandana is still really good for her, so I will be sticking to that. It just, I don't know, it just blends a lot better, and it just flows, it just works a lot better with her overall design. And if you jump into Razor Wing, well, yeah, this is what it looks like with Icarius Prime, and I feel like that's a lot better. Okay, now let's compare her real quick to Titania Regular. So here we have Titania Regular, and on the bottom right hand corner, as you'll see, we have we have more armor, rather, we have more energy, and we have more health. And more importantly, we now have more than average health. Okay, if you remember, back in the Titania overview, Titania with 300 health was average. Now Titania Prime with 375 is above average health, so that's really good. That's also kind of why I'm using Vitality. So that's basically the logic behind that. That also means that if you want to use, say, an Umbral build, you'll probably want to put in a few more Forma, and you could use Umbral Vitality. You might be able to get some pretty good bonuses out of that. Fantastic. Cool. And because of the extra armor buff as well, despite the fact that I don't really think that armor buff by itself being 100 armor going up to 125 armor, that is a damage mitigation of 25% going up to 29%. Seems meaningless, but I guess if you do an Umbral build and you use Umbral Fiber, maybe that's worth something. You tell me. Otherwise, we also have more energy. It's basically Mag Prime levels at 262. Great. Awesome. Now, let's have a look at the Zero Formal build that I am using for Titania Prime, and it is really a Zero Formal build. And the first thing I want to note is that with Zero Forma, Titania comes with 4 polarities. Titania Regular comes with 2 polarities, and for some reason I actually put 2 Forma in her, I don't even know why, but Titania Prime comes with 4 polarities, and that, in my opinion, is really strong. So, the reason why I'm using Vitality, not just because the extra health, but also because Titania's new passive is that when she is hit, she actually generates 4 energy a second for 20 seconds, and this actually heals herself and her allies, so that is real damn good. So you may notice that I'm actually playing her now as a rage tank. Not really a come at me kind of rage tank, but just like, I have the health, I have the healing, might as well put on rage so that we don't have to worry too much about energy drain. So that is very good in my opinion. Otherwise, with a build like this, after growing power, Razor Wing Blitz will give you a whopping, let's find out. Let's see, let's spawn a Corrupted Heavy Gunner. With growing power, 4 stacks of Razor Wing Blitz will give you 170% movement speed and attack speed. So that is this fast, which is really fast, and that is this fast when it comes to shooting. So that is really good. And it just means that like fighting really powerful enemies is just hilariously trivialized with Titania, because like I said in her overview, her damage output is through the roof with Dex Pixia Prime, so that's really good. Otherwise, as per usual, there are no changes when it comes to her exalted weapons, so the same build from that video is currently being used with Dex Pixia Prime, but with Titania Prime, I'm not even going to bother putting in a former to put in something like Healing Return. I don't care about that weapon anymore, especially since the passive heals you. The original idea was to use Titania to heal you, but you know, with that passive, there's no point doubling up in that, in my opinion. So, don't even care about that in the slightest. So because of that, I just want to quickly update the scores from the Titania and Titania Prime, I guess, overview to sort of reflect the changes to her, especially the health buff and the new passive. So her damage basically remains at 9 out of 10 because there are no changes to her exalted weapons at all, so they're still just as good. Titania Prime is still just as crap in my opinion, so that damage output will still remain at that level. Her survivability though being buffed by the new passive, which is of course a heal over time, albeit a small heal over time, and also a small health buff. That will bring that score from 6 out of 10 to 7 out of 10, so it is a bit of a buff, but it's not a massive buff in my opinion. That armor buff I'm not even counting at all because, like I said, 25% to 29% damage mitigation. What the hell is that? Okay, so the support will now get buffed from that heal over time as well, so I feel like that's probably enough to give it an extra point. Goes from 7 out of 10 to 8 out of 10 now, so that's that passive really giving it some extra juice. Crowd control will still be 10 out of 10 because there's no changes there. There are no changes to her abilities that came with this patch, it's just a change to her stats, okay? And her kit usability, I think, is now a 10 out of 10. It used to be a 9 out of 10 specifically because of that passive being given to allies being the allied trampoline. That has since been removed. It's now an allied heal over time, provided they're actually close enough to you. So I will probably still need to question that a little bit more, but the fact that the heal over time works on you as well as having the trampoline, so we are able to actually move and sort of jump around a little bit more as part of Titania's passive. That part of her passive still remains, but being able to heal herself and also her allies, that seems really good. Whether or not the range for the heal on allies is long enough to allow allies to actually keep up with her, that remains to be seen, but I feel like just being able to heal yourself through that passive is good enough. So because of that, now Titania has an average score of 8.8 rather out of 10, which actually means that instead of being 8 out of 10 WarFrame, she is now a 9 out of 10 WarFrame, and that is really damn good. So Titania and Titania Prime rather, really damn strong. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. Do you think you'll be using Titania Prime? Do you think you'll be putting few former in Titania Prime? I could probably see an extra former being put on this particular build here, put it on the D polarity, so you could use something like Transient Fortitude, that way you have even more power strength for your Razor Wing, but it will bring that energy drain from 1.25 per second to 1.43 a second, so that's just something you may want to keep an eye on. But otherwise, hope you guys enjoyed this. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more WarFrame content, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye!